Hey guys, welcome back to another Q&A number 3. We have some Solo the Nightfall going on in the background, but linked here is the full guide to the exact modifier setup of the Devil's Lair Nightfall for week 32, I want to say we're in, if you are interested. But let's get to the questions. First question, what do you think of the Prison of Elders, the Trials of Osiris, and upgrading our gear in the House of Wolves? Gotten a lot of questions about the House of Wolves, as to be expected, but I'm just going to plug this video right here, right at the start, which is a video that covers all of the stuff revealed in the past couple of days related to the House of Wolves, along with my thoughts on everything that has been revealed. Next question, do you think that Bungie will release another raid before the Comet? If so, do you think it will be free for people who bought the Season Pass? My understanding is that we were promised 3 raids, one with the game, one with each DLC, if you pre-ordered. Yeah, we were never promised any particular number of raids. We were, I don't want to say promised expansion packs, but we were told expansion packs were coming, and the first expansion just happened to have a raid in it, so everyone thought that every expansion equals new raid, which I can understand, because I also thought that that's what would be happening. But they never promised us raids, in particular. I don't know if Bungie would release a raid outside of the Comet or kind of on its own. I have a sneaking suspicion that the next raid won't be until the Comet, but I would obviously love for one to come out whenever possible. I don't think it would be something that we would have to pay for individually, although I totally would buy it because raids are awesome, but that just gives me all the more suspicion that it'll be part of the Comet as something that we buy. Nothing is, truly free after all. But that is all speculation. All complete speculation. Next question. Do you think the Crucible is broken, considering things like Hunter Supers, Blink, shotguns, magnetic and sticky, and fusion grenades? I think the Crucible as a whole is not broken. The better players are going to win most of the time. It's just that some of the stuff that you mentioned is a little too strong. Blink Shotgun being the largest problem of them all, because there's just not a lot of counters to it. You need to be incredibly fast to counter a Blink Shotgun, and someone who knows what they're doing won't even give you that chance to counter. The special ammo tweaks that happened in patch 1.1.2 seek to maybe tone down that just a little bit, but I played with a full group of clanmates, and I really didn't notice it being that difficult to get special ammo, but that's probably because we were kind of dominating the groups that we were playing, and so we had complete map control and thus had control of all the special ammo spawns. I imagine playing solo would be much more of a different scenario. Next question. As Destiny is said to be a 10-year project, what do you think Destiny will be like in 10 years' time? Or what are your hopes for Destiny over that time? And probably the most important question, will you still be churning out videos and streaming at that point? Yeah, I mean, I'd certainly like to be churning out Destiny videos and streaming if, a certain job opportunity that I'm chasing doesn't work out. Yeah, I would love to still be doing that and still being able to, do it full time. I hope Destiny, over the next few years, gets a little more depth. I know it's not an MMO, but it's a very simple game to understand, and I would like to see a little more complexity, a little more for the hardcore audience, as that's what I am, a hardcore player. Hopefully we have a little bit more of a story come in the next, year or so, and some more things to do, but I think the game is only going to get better with age. Bungie's learning what's working, what's not working. It would be difficult to make the game worse than it is. I don't mean that to say like, oh, Destiny's such a terrible game, but for it to decline in quality, Bungie would need to mess up very, very badly. Destiny is far from a perfect game, but for it to really decline into quality, yeah, they would have to mess up super, super badly. Next question. Datto, I have Destiny for the Xbox. Do the PlayStation exclusives merit buying the game on PlayStation, or should I just wait? I would say that if you've invested a lot into your Xbox characters, like you have multiple characters at level 32 and tons of items and materials and weapons saved up, I don't think it's worth giving up all of that for a couple of strikes and the random chance to get a ship and Hawkmoon. And, Monte Carlo and Fourth Horseman, but who cares about those? If you're a first-time buyer of Destiny, you're starting fresh, then yeah, I would say go PS4 because, exclusives, more stuff. But losing all of your work and investment into Xbox characters, I don't think is worth switching over at all to PlayStation, in my opinion. Maybe if you have some friends on PlayStation who are going to help you level up or something like that, then maybe, but just going by yourself, I would not do that. Next question. Datto, your streams are great. People like you for what you bring to the table. You shouldn't compare yourself to others. Why are you so hard on yourself? That's just kind of part of who I am as a person. I'm definitely very hard on myself. I'm my own biggest critic. You know, there's always room for improvement, always a way to get better, always something that I could be doing better or be more efficient in. My dad has really kind of rubbed off on me a lot in that regard, you know, working hard, being humble, get it done, always get better. YouTube is the first thing where I've actually had any real level of success post-college. You know, I'm still very used to having to do very menial work or garbage work or being some low-level peon or otherwise failing to progress in my career field. It is very refreshing knowing that I don't need to be some sort of character or anything on my streams or on YouTube. I'm glad that I don't have to resort to that because I think I would hate myself. It's only natural for me, or for others, I guess, to compare myself or themselves to other people, though. Especially when you're in this kind of work where you're only earning as much as the market thinks you are worth. Trust me, it hasn't been a fun experience to see my income tank over the past 4 to 5 months. When you see your income start to drop, you kind of see your worth drop, whether that's literally monetary worth or your audience is slowly starting to leave or not watch anymore or something like that. And when you see that drop happen, it can bring you down. At least, you know, it can do that to me. So then it feels like I'm doing something wrong. You know, why aren't people watching as much as they used to? Is it the game? Is it me? What did I do? How is X still doing so well? What are people watching now that I'm not doing? You know, I hate to make it seem like it's all about the money or the views, because I don't want it to seem like that, nor am I looking for, you know, any sort of pity or sympathy. I'm just trying to tell people my thought process. It is my job after all, and when something becomes a job, it can't just be about only the love of the game all the time. You know, you do have to kind of factor in the whole job scenario. Next question, what is the best strategy to get the 500 points in Crucible, killing Guardians with void damage for the Thorn bounty? I can't seem to make any progress. I really don't like answering this question just because I don't really have any specific advice other than get kills and don't die. You know, everyone's gun skill is different, everyone's ability is different. You just need to really abuse your special and heavy weapon usage. Be around for every heavy ammo drop, use Word of Crota if you have it, any void special, whichever one you like, and, you know, just play a little more cautiously. As long as you stay above, like, what is it, maybe a 0.5 kill-death ratio, you'll get it eventually. If you have Word of Crota, Praetus Revenge, and Truth, that's probably one of the best setups that you can get. So, you know, just play a little more cautiously. Next question. Do you think Destiny's loot system is too reliant on luck in things like the Crucible? I think the entire system is too reliant on luck with regards to exotic weapons. I come from a World of Warcraft background, which does feature a lot of luck-based loot in general, but there was stuff that you can go out and chase as well. I think that there needs to be more stuff you can actually go out and earn, but if you make everything earned, then it might be too easy to earn loot, depending on how difficult it is to earn said loot. However, if you think about it, all non-raid legendary armor and weapons are available to purchase, which is what most people are equipped with. I think the problem lies with exotics. You know, I picture them being these incredibly difficult and hard-earned weapons to get, super special, very long time to get them, like legendary weapons in World of Warcraft. And they're just not, and I think that sucks. Next question, would you like to see patrol mode be made more relevant? If so, how? Yeah, I would definitely like to see patrol be more relevant, you know. I'd like to actually see it be a threat, because right now it's a joke. So I'd definitely like to see something where maybe you could load into a higher level version of a patrol where I'm actually in danger and maybe offering some more difficult patrol missions or something like that. Even stuff like rare public events that are higher level would be cool. And maybe, you know, offer some sort of bonus reward, extra materials, more engrams, whatever. But right now, patrol is super easy, and there really aren't any reasons to go exploring or to patrol in the first place besides patrol missions for bounties. So I definitely would like to see patrol mode be made a little more relevant. Next question. I'm hoping that they follow in the footsteps of what they did to Halo, since Destiny's story wasn't that great. What do you think they would do for Destiny 2 and the future franchise? Yeah, I mean, I thought Destiny was gonna, that's what I thought was gonna happen with Destiny overall, that across this 10-year period we'd have this big epic storyline that we would be following this, the whole time. And I know they're really gonna have to pick it up greatly in the storytelling department with Destiny 2 and the future. Something must have happened during development, because the storytelling is garbage right now. There's barely anything to go on. Is the story of the Vault of Glass tied to any specific storyline in the game right now? What about Crota's End? Are they just their own little mini stories, or are they connected to something bigger? The lore of Destiny itself is great if you know where to find it, but nothing is explained in the game at all, and the storytelling is just ugh, but I know. I think we all know that. Next question. Do you have a schedule for streaming besides Tuesday raid night? I don't really. I've been very, very inconsistent, but I do try to alert people when I stream, unless it's like, a little secret stream where I just kind of pop it up and see who shows up. I don't really have a specific schedule, just because, 1 week I might not be working on that many videos, or videos were easier to edit, so I have more time to stream, and then you have weeks like this week where I'm just inundated with tons and tons of stuff, and I have to spend more time editing videos. So it's just kind of sporadic, and streaming is not my main source of income or anything like that, so I don't put a lot of priority on it. If I ever did switch to a more stream-heavy schedule, then I obviously would, have a schedule. Next question. Do you think Bungie should increase the reputation you get from strike playlists, or make the weekly strikes give you rep and XP on subsequent plays? I definitely think they should crank up the rep gains a bit from these strikes in the playlist. I think the weekly and the nightfall are fine. You don't want to make that too efficient, but like Vanguard Rocks giving 25 rep per strike is awful. I think that's got to be cranked up. When you can do a VIP patrol mission in about 1 minute and get the same rep as a Vanguard strike in the playlist, I think that's a problem. Maybe bump that up to like 50 rep or something like that, at least. Next question, in your opinion, which of the 3 Crucible factions is worth leveling the most, solely based on weapons? Also, which of the 3 would you recommend leveling the most when taking all of its possible rewards into consideration? For a new player, I think Future War Cult is the best, because Intellect and Discipline gear is probably the best gear that you can get. If you're not a new player at all, I honestly don't think it matters what you level. The only weapon that I know of that has any sort of value was the Vanquisher, but now that auto rifles aren't that great anymore, even that's kind of like whatever. A lot of people like the Judgment 6 from New Monarchy for PvP, but otherwise I don't think there are many weapons that are 100% must buy directly from a vendor. Deviant Gravity is fine from Dead Orbit, the Crash is okay from Future War Cult, but I don't think anything is an absolute must-have. Next question, have you heard of Patreon or others of its kind? Would you ever consider using it, or other platforms of its sort? Yeah, I'm very familiar with Patreon. I know what the deal is with Patreon, but I don't think it's for me. I'm not a big fan of the whole fund my lifestyle kind of system where I absolutely need to rely on the generosity of others to, stay in the business or stay alive. I'd prefer as much content as possible to be free and require no one to have to pay anything if they don't want to. I don't even know how many people would really end up supporting me on Patreon anyway, because if my fan funding transactions on YouTube are any indicator of how much support there would be, let's just say it wouldn't be that much. It really would not be that much. So, that's not to say I don't appreciate those who have donated, because I greatly, greatly appreciate, those people who have donated either on YouTube or on Twitch, but for me to have to rely on viewer donations or anything like that to pay the bills, I don't feel comfortable with that. Next question. Why doesn't anyone use fusion rifles anymore? In PvP, they got nerfed a bit, and in PvE, they just don't have as much use anymore. A lot of the time, you want to be sniping and stuff like the raid, and if you really want to get close up, you're going to want the instant damage of a shotgun, especially now that they've been buffed. Fusion rifles are still good, but no one wants a shotgun that has to charge, and fusion rifles don't really have super great range. Snipers are still definitely the most used endgame special weapon, simply because there are so many threats from being up close to stuff. You know, light switch, burns, stuff being higher level than you. Snipers pretty much rule that territory for now. Last question of the video, you used to play MMOs, didn't you? Did you play World of Warcraft? Yes. What class? When did you quit, and why, if you did? Do you see the same reason for quitting World of Warcraft as eventually being a reason you would stop playing Destiny? I did used to play MMOs, mainly World of Warcraft, but, you know, I played a couple others as well. I played a Warrior, I played an Enhancement Shaman, and I played a Death Knight. I quit playing World of Warcraft the day that I moved to California, which was 2 days after I graduated college, because I just did not have the time to play anymore, and I knew that if I wanted to get myself going in the television industry, which is where I initially started working, which has a very, very unforgiving work schedule, that I would just have to stop playing or it would consume my life and I would never go look for work and my life would be over. Perhaps I'm exaggerating a little bit on that, but you know what I mean. If I could fit hardcore World of Warcraft raiding back into my schedule, I would still be playing it to this day. I've never wanted to quit that game. I think I would quit Destiny for different reasons if I ever quit, but, you know, I love both games, and while I might take breaks from them, I don't think I'll ever truly quit any of those games. That is going to do it for this week's question and answer session. Remember that you can always ask me questions over on the ask.fm/hello Datto page. I've answered over 2,000 questions. I cannot promise that I can get to every single question, so if I don't get to yours, I apologize. My Facebook page is also another great spot to ask me stuff if you want to ask me something. I am going to go now. Thank you all very much for watching, and I will see you next time.